Today we got Daredevil Born Again Episode 3 reaction. Emergency awesome. Bro, that shit was crazy, bro.
And the acquittal of Hector Hyde demands that I keep it.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my full Daredevil Born Again Episode 3 video. There's so much that happened, so much to talk about, more Punisher teasers.
Bro, I already knew it was gonna happen.
Like, what was going on there?
As soon as they found out
Don't worry,
about, what's it called?
Punisher, just somebody wearing his logo.
That he was a white tiger, I knew they were gonna go after him.
So many Punisher references in the first couple of episodes, and Matt is definitely right. If you can't get justice, you need punishment, and that calls for Frank Castle to show up.
Yes, sir.
If you're brand new to the channel, I'm doing videos for all the episodes. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. The episode title was The Hollow of His Hand, a reference to a hymn from the Bible. In the hollow of his hand, in the hollow of his hand, I am safe while God himself does hold me in the hollow of his hand, which Heather Glenn mentions at the end of the episode when she's toasting to Matt and Foggy's memory. They talk a little bit about Foggy Nelson with her psychoanalyzing, counseling Matt just a little bit. She is a counselor, so at some point you're kind of expecting her to get him talking about Foggy again, which it sounds like he hasn't done in a long time, like actually openly talked about Foggy.
Foggy Nelson
is the idea that things are entirely within a person's control, especially within God's hand. With them also using that,
we got the suit up and we didn't get no action, bro.
Storyline with him trying to control everything that's going
That
on.
was ass.
He talked about chaos reigning, and Matt trying to control everything too on the other side of things. And the irony that they cannot control everything because of what happens to White Tiger at the end of the episode. R.I.P. May he rest in peace.
Yes, sir. R.I.P., bro.
Like, did they kill him off of the show because the actor in real life passed away?
Probably.
That's actually not the case. This is actually the result of the creative changes behind the scenes. The actor passed away after they had filmed all the stuff that they were going to do during season 1. I think they'd always planned to eventually transition the White Tiger identity, the mantle, to his niece, who was sitting in the trial that he referenced, like my sister and my niece. That's also right out of the comics too. His niece.
I don't know. We should have got more of him though.
So even if the
I feel like, but
in real life, I still think that he would have been killed by the Punisher cops, who is meant to be the person wearing that Punisher body.
The corrupt cops.
The episode who actually shot him. If you remember during the
Punisher gonna have a field day with them, bro.
Gang or the Punisher Corps, whatever you want to call them, inside that police department, were basically trying to do everything they could to keep White Tiger in prison. So the fact that he won meant that they were going to retaliate. You kind of saw that at the end of the trial, where some of them got real pissed off, like, we're gonna do something about this. And because during the
you had to know it, bro.
His identity to the public, just in general, as White Tiger,
it meant his family wasn't safe no more after that.
Paying that off and having the cops directly go after him, like the Punisher cops go to kill him. And as you saw in the first couple episodes, they posted an in memoriam to the actual actor in real life.
R.I.P., bro.
Because he did pass away from cancer after they finished filming all of his stuff for the series. The episode was mostly meant to be the trial of the White Tiger, which is an arc directly from the classic Daredevil comics. And originally, before they did the creative reboot of the show, I think much more of the series was meant to be the trial of the White Tiger, like the trial itself would have lasted for longer. The episode
that would have been good, but I guess they had to short it out.
Hector talks about his happy memories of a beach that he loved in his hometown inside Puerto Rico, the little frog that doesn't croak, only sings its name, that all the tourists hate, but the locals like him love because it's a song that the different frog mates sing to each other. It's meant to be a larger metaphor about him missing being away from his family, like he misses his wife, he misses his family. This is also meant to foreshadow the actual end credits after his death when they give you the audio from the beach with the little frogs singing that he was talking about.
This little tree frog doesn't croak, it sings its name.
But a lot of those conversations are also metaphors about missing the life, like he misses being White Tiger, and Matt kind of misses being Daredevil, even though he protests in all of their speeches when they're talking to each other about how he can't be White Tiger anymore because he just gives his identity to everyone. But later in the episode, Hector basically gives him a pep talk saying that he didn't choose the life, it chose him. And even though everybody knows who he is now, he can't stop being White Tiger just because of that. We'll get into that in a second too, because there are a lot of different types of Spider-Man references in the actual episode through White Tiger's storyline, both like Spider-Man No Way Home, Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man, but a couple sly Miles Morales Spider-Man Easter eggs too. Everybody wondering
with the Officer Morales.
to Red Hook, remember they
I
mentioned
think
Red Hook
Doomsday they gotta bring him, bro.
episode 1, which Vanessa was
Keep it
talking
a
about the
secret
criminal
until it comes
organization,
out.
the heads of the gangs operating there because it's where the port is. The Irishman then kills the men on the truck to steal what they have. Basically, two different warring gangs within the factions that Vanessa controls now. The only thing they're not really clear about is what their contraband was that the Irishman was stealing. But it just meant to tie more into that side of Kingpin, his criminal organization, his former criminal organization that Vanessa kind of controls.
Put this down a little bit.
The Kingpin like she hasn't. She's still trying to orchestrate things with the organization without directly being right there herself. We get another BB report.
You gonna get caught up with that shit, bro.
Feels like a nod to the place, like police brutality or the authorities just in general. Another person talks about vigilantes, villains, and heroes battling in the city, like the good, the bad, and the ugly, all types, like bad vigilantes, good vigilantes.
They're all the same. That's the way he looked at it.
The mayor's mansion in New York City. Real life facts, it's one of the oldest houses inside Manhattan that's still used.
That's crazy.
The acting mayor of New York City usually lives there while he's mayor. Notice he's eating egg whites again. He really likes his eggs. Also, the fact that they're egg whites, because remember, Matt told him, you've lost some weight. You got more muscle on you now. Trying to lead a more healthy life. Leave behind those Kingpin ways. Vanessa mentions one of the
For
most
now, at least.
of art that was ever sold at auction, Bacon's Freud triptych, saying that it's about to go up for auction again for even more money, and she can use it to launder up to $200 million. The actual painting depicts Bacon's friend and rival perched on a wooden chair in 3 different places. And I think this is meant to be a metaphor for the Kingpin-Daredevil relationship. Like if we're talking about Kingpin here taking his perspective, it'd be Daredevil in the painting. And if we're talking about Matt, it would be Kingpin in the painting. Basically the most important person in their life that they were obsessed with. Both of them are kind of low-level obsessed with each other. But I also think Vanessa talking about art is more foreshadowing for the.
They just waiting for the right opportunity, bro. Both of them.
We've seen a bunch of them in all the trailers. They're based on his comic book art. He draws a bunch of murals. The difference is in the comics, the murals themselves he paints with people's bodies, like he paints them in blood.
Bruh, that's crazy.
Differences with his comic book storyline and these murals that he makes, like these gruesome murals, is that he uses Inhumans to make the murals. Do not think that they're going to be doing Inhumans during Daredevil Born Again. Kingpin basically tells Vanessa, no money laundering for you, because he's trying to look legit, and he wants
you gotta look clean, bro.
Him in the public's eye, like be the trophy wife, be the politician's wife, just waving at everybody from the plane like you would normally see. She obviously hates this idea, wants nothing to do it, like she doesn't want any of that life at all, like he's basically forcing this on her. And she directly questions this.
I mean, he introduced her to that world, so he can't really complain about it, I guess.
For all this,
I'm reaching for higher goals.
David Vincent D'Onofrio has talked about Kingpin's long-term storyline through these next couple of seasons of Daredevil Born Again, possibly other future TV series, movies, whatever they wind up using him in. Kingpin's taste of power early on here, becoming mayor, only makes him want more power, and he'll always be reaching for more and more power.
Sounds like someone familiar.
That you eventually want to become the U.S. president at some point. Like, what more power could you want than becoming president of the United States? We literally just went through this during Captain America Brave New World with Thunderbolt Ross, who stepped down after he became Red Hulk. So the acting vice president became the new president of the United States right now, where we're in present day of the Daredevil Born Again series. The funny thing about that, too, is that during that movie...
But who is the vice president, though?
The vice president is by now. He is the current president of the MCU. Then his aide mentions the murders that we
low
just
key.
saw happen in Red Hook.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Because she knows that it was her men that got popped, and it was because she wasn't there to tell them what to do, and Kingpin wasn't being Kingpin, so he wasn't there to tell them what to do either. He implies they're going to use their blackmail plan that they pulled on the police chief to deal with the Red Hook problem. And Vanessa basically tells Kingpin that unless he steps in or she steps in, things are going to get worse. It will become chaos, playing into his hand later in the episode where he says, no, I
let them fight, bro.
Chaos because I'm going to fix
he wants them to end each other.
He's literally pulling a Homeland Homelander on The Boys. We'll get into this in a second too, because the scene actually happens later in the episode, but they literally just did this storyline on The Boys. Notice that when he tries to brush Vanessa off too, they show his bloody knuckles. They're all busted up again, like he's continually been beating the crap out of someone or killing dudes in his private time to let steam off. Is a parallel for Matt slipping back into Daredevil mode recently. Both of them slipping a little bit back into the old
Bro,
ways.
this shit's so peak.
Then cutting directly to Matt washing his bloody knuckles again after his recent fight with the Punisher cops, who literally comes up on him while he's in the bathroom here.
That was funny.
Powell strolling in with all kinds of Matt bruises all over his face, like you just got your ass handed to you.
By a blind man.
Slip in some backstory on White Tiger's fight too, where they explained that the witness was a confidential informant for those Punisher cops, and that's why they were accosting him. Then, because this episode is real heavy on the Punisher cops storyline, setting more of that up, like we're still early days with that, like they're sort of teasing.
You better be
eventually showing
next
us
episode.
what he's gonna do to deal with those Punisher cops. We go straight to Cherry, who's walking past one of Muse's murals depicting the Punisher logo and the word "triggered" on it. I think
Trigger
it's maybe
happy.
a reference to the Punisher cops, not to Frank Castle himself, or maybe a reference to how Frank Castle is going to deal with the Punisher cops. Like Muse knows about the Punisher cops. Notice he's also signed his murals with the Muse name too, so he's literally putting his name on all of them. He's meant to be that unhinged kid that you saw asked to become Heather Glenn's new patient. And we basically see that this is the safe house that Cherry used to stash the witness that Matt helped save. At the actual trial, the prosecution and the Punisher cops try to paint things like they're upstanding officers, amazing records, they're heroes, trying to make it seem like White Tiger was out of control, this dangerous vigilante, the kind that Fisk was talking about, basically playing into Fisk's agenda for wanting to get rid of dangerous vigilantes. Not clear if this gang of Punisher cops, though, is directly working with Kingpin, or it's just a coincidence that...
Nah, I doubt it. At least not yet.
Notice in the back of the trial, you see the cops watching seem like they're either sleeping, pensive...
They ain't fine shit.
Like they know exactly what's going on with the Punisher gang. Some of these cops are part of that gang. I don't know if every single member of the police...
Probably. They were all talking, so...
Doris cannot testify.
But they all look like they're ready for this trial to be over for many different reasons. Like they either don't want to be here, even if they're not part of that Punisher group, or if they are part of the Punisher group, they definitely want it to be over because they want White Tiger to stay in prison. Matt makes a boxing joke, making fun of the officer. For
That shit was funny, bro.
He lost, basically telling him that he doesn't have fast hands and he's a terrible fighter. He tries to catch him in a lie about the witness, who they say was their confidential informant. Obviously, that winds up being a misdirect in the episode, winds up going south for Matt. Does not work out the way he planned it. Even though
Bro, he sold.
misdirect, the cops worked with the regular yellow cap, the witness himself winds up getting afraid and doesn't testify. He winds up lying about what actually happened.
They would have killed him too.
Kingpin's new Wesley, Buck Cashman, dealing with the gang war, who says he doesn't work for the mayor, he works for the man. Now, this is a
Bro, this dog keeps barking.
He's talking about working for Vanessa, Queenpin, because of the later reveal.
I don't know what he's barking at though.
Is Vanessa here? She basically reveals to Kingpin that she's the one who ordered Buck to deal with the gangs, with the payoff. He relents a little, forgives her. His whole talk about the peace being broken, chaos having to reign for a little while, is actually a side reference to the comics. Devil's Reign is the storyline where he became mayor. In context to the actual series, though, like I said, he's pulling a Homelander like he did recently on The Boys with Sage's plan to basically cause a civil war, burn America to the ground so that Homelander could swoop in and be the savior, and everyone would love him as this new god who fixed everything and holds him up way higher in higher esteem than they did before. Kingpin basically wants to do the same thing, but with New York City, let it burn itself to the ground,
And then be the hero after.
and be viewed as the person to have fixed everything. Like I said, though, Vincent D'Onofrio said this only makes Fisk want more power. Like he's always wanting more and more and more power. So if this plan is successful, and
That's how he's gonna get bigger and bigger.
City, what more would he want after that?
He gonna have that fight with Spider-Man season 2 or 3.
While they're telling each other the truth, while she stepped out of the room, is that Vanessa brings up her lover Adam again, saying that Kingpin is punishing her for that. Notice the bloody knuckles again. I think
Yeah, he got Adam, bro.
Reference to how he's getting those bloody knuckles. Maybe he's upholding his promise to Vanessa. He wouldn't kill Adam, but he didn't tell her that he wouldn't beat the hell out of him for the rest of his life. So maybe he's just been working out all of his frustrations on Adam every single night.
He got him locked in the basement, bro. Poor Adam, bro.
Blink and you'll miss it. Hulk Easter egg with the bus ad for the Pingo Doce soda. They featured that earlier in the series too. Like the Hulk soda is all over the MCU just in general, not just Daredevil Born Again. We even just saw it on The Void during Deadpool and Wolverine on top of the Secret Wars comic book. But at the trial, Matt's big play to try and win is to invoke White Tiger in court. Put him on
That was crazy, bro.
out the fact that he is White Tiger to everyone and try to use that to show that he's been a good person. Like White Tiger has been beneficial to New York City. He's actually been a really, really good citizen in trying to help everyone.
Put a target on his back and his family.
The attorney tells him that it's going to be open season on him and make his life as a lawyer from now on super, super hell. Pretty soon his life becoming Daredevil again also going to be hell. And we get another BB report. This time, people talking about White Tiger and thinking that he's not going to get a fair trial. When Matt tries to tell him that if they do win the trial, he'll have to quit being White Tiger because everybody will know who he is. He'll be threatening his family, retaliation.
He should have just changed up the suit, bro. Made it black or something.
This is meant to set up the retaliation that happens at the end of the episode where the Punisher cops literally retaliate against him by killing him.
I mean, this is really hurting a lot of people.
That was kind of Daredevil's fault, bro. Matt Murdock.
Spider-Man No Way Home thing with Doctor Strange using the spell twice, but Hector does not have a magical Doctor Strange spell to fix those problems at the end of the episode. I also think this is a bit of a sly callback to Matt helping Spider-Man out with that, even though technically, because of that second spell, he does not remember that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. All the talk about not putting the suit back on is Matt thinking about his own situation as Daredevil after what happened with Foggy and Bullseye, and obviously Hector giving him the pep talk of the century about how it's a calling, it chose him, he didn't choose the life. All meant to slowly cause Daredevil to realize the same is true for him too. Like,
oh yeah, Daredevil gonna go over the edge after he hears what happens with White Tiger, bro.
Good that he's done, getting the jury to come around on
he did all that for nothing.
This is where we get the quick blink you'll miss it Miles Morales Spider-Man reference when he mentions one of the police that White Tiger helped was Officer Morales. Miles Morales' father is a cop. If you remember, way back during Spider-Man Homecoming, they canonized Miles Morales in a deleted scene, but have not mentioned him since then in live action. Recently, during Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, though, this version of Donald Glover is meant to be that same version of
the Prowler
from the MCU who's just wearing the costume from the comics now. The way the Sony people have talked about it, Amy Pascal, who works on the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, like the big Spider-Man movies, she said they are planning on doing live-action Miles Morales Spider-Man, but it sounds like Sony is going to be using him as their main Spider-Man for their future live-action Spider-Man spin-off movies that will now...
They better make it good.
...have Spider-Man in them. It'll just be a Miles Morales live-action Spider-Man. Which honestly, I feel like is a better play for...
I think they need to do the Spider-Verse before bringing him to live action.
Spider-Man in a billion movies. But they're not going to try and make that first Miles Morales live-action Spider-Man movie till after Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that's the right move.
But it does sound like they plan on having Miles Morales show up in MCU Spider-Man movies at some point. Otherwise, why would they mention Officer Morales, his father? So they win the trial, White Tiger goes free. Notice in the background, you clock the Punisher cops who tried to silence the witness and keep him in jail look super pissed, like they're about to retaliate at the end of the episode. Then Kingpin watching the trial on the news, pissed that Matt won because it's part of his agenda that he gets rid of vigilantes. He doesn't like that they're being painted as being good people. So his go-to move is to try and use BB in her reporting on the ground, like her more street-level reporting, to help turn the city against vigilantes more. Use social media as a weapon against vigilantes, basically. Matt has a celebratory dinner with Heather Glenn and starts talking about Foggy with her in the time they were young and...
But he always gets some fine shits.
The toast over him. She says the title of the episode, May God Hold Them in the Hollow of His Hand. She said the name of the thing inside the thing. Then we end the episode with Kingpin's voiceover talking to BB about why vigilantes are bad, trying to help turn her against vigilantes too. While you see White Tiger putting the suit back on in the amulet and goes out looking for people and then gets shot by one of the...
I thought we were going to see him in action.
Now, like I said, it's not meant to be Frank Castle, but that's what they're evoking. Like, oh my God, it's the Punisher logo. Did the Punisher just kill him?
Nah, anybody that knows the Punisher knows he wouldn't do that.
He's using the Punisher logo. all meant to set up Frank Castle probably coming back in episode 4. I'd be surprised if they waited till episode 5. Like, this feels like a big reveal, like they're going to reveal what was really going on.
Yeah, it gotta be the next episode, I think.
The way that the producers and John Bernthal talked about the Punisher's arc is that
Or
Matt
5.
goes to him
I don't know.
looking to get someone that he can't get himself or do things that he's not willing to do.
I don't think you came here for my help. I think you want my permission, Red.
It just sounds like it has something to do with these Punisher cops. Like
You want my permission, Red?
Being killed, and then senses that it was a retaliation from the same group of cops, and then learns about what's going on with them from Frank. But I believe,
And then he's not gonna like it when he's killing them.
At least whatever they're gonna call them. People have just been calling them Punisher Corps on social media. That group will endure till season 2, so like they won't completely get rid of them during season 1. And
I
one
like
of the
it.
cool reveals that Marvel made recently is that they're
To
doing
season
a
2 is good, bro.
presentation, basically like a Punisher movie for Frank Castle next year that will air alongside Daredevil season 2, based on loose ends that he leaves at the end of season 1. And it sounds like a lot of
Yes,
stuff is going on with
sir.
Punisher cops. They haven't totally explained which other characters are going to show up during that, but basically, if you remember the Werewolf by Night special presentation, they're basically doing that, but for John Bernthal's Punisher. So it's basically the beginning of a lot more Punisher inside the MCU. So if you really wanted to see more Punisher, they are going to give you more Punisher.
Yes, sir.
Marvel is just announced that you're making Punisher season 3. And if you didn't
Yeah.
stay for the actual
Season
end
3
credits,
and
Marvel production, you should always traditionally stay through the credits.
that other
And
shit.
you did something of an end tag scene where all the music cuts out as the Punisher cop walks through the frame. Then they go to the credits and it's silent for just a beat, sort of a memoriam to him, like R.I.P. White Tiger.
That was nice,
But then
bro.
all of a sudden, audio
R.I.P.
from that beach that was his favorite place in Puerto Rico cuts in. You hear the sounds of the beach, and you hear those little frogs singing again that he said he loved. Absolutely heartbreaking. So press F to pay respects for White Tiger. Hopefully,
R.I.P.,
Daredevil
bro.
will find some revenge for him after this.
In real
Some
life
justice,
and in the
justice,
series.
justice, some punishment, which is also a callback to the Punisher in what he said in episode 1 when he was talking about what would happen with Bullseye. If we can't get justice, then the best we can hope for is punishment. And when you need some punishment, you go to Frank Castle. But it was actually a relatively
I wonder
small
what he's been
episode
up to.
because they chose to focus mostly on the trial of the White Tiger. So if there are any Easter eggs and references that you spotted or clues for future episodes that I didn't talk about in the video, write them below in the comments. Didn't spot that many Easter eggs to other Defenders related stuff. Probably won't see some of those till a little bit later in the season. For the most part, they made it seem like the Defenders characters we haven't seen yet will show up at some point during season 2. The only one that I know about for sure is Jessica Jones. We'll see about Luke Cage and Iron Fist. My episode 4 video should post by Friday because we have the Invincible finale. That'll be my next video.
Invincible.
If you're watching Invincible, be sure to check it out. It has been
Been
fun.
hearing a lot about
Enjoy
that.
full Daredevil episode 4.
Hey, yo.
So everybody
You
click
gonna
the
get some
link
more
below.
action in the fucking show?
Link as soon as I post it, and click here for
Can
all
never get enough, bro.
Daredevil episodes.
That's gonna be it, though. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.